All right. Testing, testing. Okay, yeah. Looks like I actually got the mic working right out of the gate. I think I figured out what the problem is with that, so that won't happen again. So, good morning, everybody. Well, at least it's morning for me, but welcome to the stream. So, hope everybody's doing well today. It's Saturday, so it's got to be a good day, right? And it's the Saturday before the U.S. holiday Thanksgiving, which is a holiday I like. I like to eat. I like to eat a lot of turkey. I like to eat apple pie, mashed potatoes. My wife's homemade mac and cheese, all that stuff. It's my fave. So definitely going to be eating off plan this Thursday. It's going to be great. But anyway, yeah, welcome Billy. Welcome wife. My wife Jennifer is in the house. Thanks for the sound check. Appreciate that. Um, yeah. So health wise, things are good. I'm putting on weight. That's for sure. I am putting on the pounds. But I'm still staying pretty lean. So that means hopefully I'm building a little muscle. We'll see. But training's been pretty good. I got some aches and pains, but overall training's been pretty good. No major issues. I went over to Hewlin Street, Fort Worth, to check out the new or newish. I guess the newest one is in Louisville, but the newer Absolute Recomp in Fort Worth, and that was really cool. That place was really neat. Had a lot of great equipment. In fact, I'll probably try to go back there tomorrow for a chest workout because there's some pressing machines that I really like. And the gym I'm at here in Midlothian doesn't have a lot of chest pressing machines. They have one it's a great one, but I'd like to find like an incline machine, things like that. Kind of give barbell, dumbbell stuff kind of a break for a little while. My right shoulder's just a little touchy still. It's not hurt. It's just I think the ligaments or the tendons are just a little sensitivo to the pressing motions. So I've been kind of taking it easy on pressing, which sucks because my chest is one area I want to bring up. Sleep's been on and off okay. For the most part, pretty good when I don't sabotage it with caffeine like I did last night. I took a little pre-workout caffeine. I've just been kind of having one problem I'm having in the gym is I don't quite have the aggression that I usually have, and that sounds all negative like or bad like aggression, but you need a little bit of aggression in the gym to try to push yourself past, push yourself past pain, not pain but uncomfortability of the burning of working out, etc. And it helped last night. I've been off Retatrutide, which is the GLP-3, for a couple weeks now, feeling pretty good from that. And actually, I'm starting to see my heart rate come down a little bit, which is good. And my HRV is starting to come back up. So definitely, it's the Retatrutide that causes that elevated heart rate. But it'll take about a month or two to get out of my systems completely. But my blood sugar's good. Blood pressure's a little low, actually. It's kind of weird. It's like the other morning it was 96/70, which is systolic. That's a little low. So I'm going to try to increase sodium a little bit, try to get that up. But hey, it's a good problem to have, right? Blood pressure lower is instead of high is a good thing. So keep that going. Mentally, I'd say I'm okay. I definitely struggle with dopamine. Like I feel like I've got a massive issue with dopamine. I think it has to do with the antidepressant stuff that I'm on. Definitely need that though because I get pretty down in the dumps, especially this time of year. I get a little bit a bit broody, as they say. But yeah, I'm trying to kind of figure out some hacks that I can do for dopamine, because I just don't have a lot of drive to get things done. Every once in a while I will, but the thing I have noticed that if I drink a lot of caffeine, like if I take a Celsius energy drink or something, or like a pre-workout, it automatically puts me in a great mood. My mood's good. Everything's great. Like I feel really good. And so I've been kind of talking to ChatGPT a little bit about that, and I think ChatGPT and I are in agreement that it's probably the SSRIs are suppressing my dopamine. So so I'm going to try a stack here that it recommended. It consists of let's see here. I'll pull it up here. I'll read it off to you. It consists of L-tyrosine, which is a precursor to dopamine, rhodiola, Tongkat Ali, which I've heard good things about that. I've never tried it, so I'm going to try that. A little bit of caffeine and a little bit of L-theanine. And then that's kind of the morning fasted or with breakfast stack. And then midday, it's calling for maca or maca. I don't really know what that is. I haven't done a lot of homework on that, but I'll check that out. And then in the evening, it's recommending magnesium glycinate, which I already take, and zinc, which I already take. So we'll kind of see what that does. I'll be experimenting with that to try to get my dopamine up. And it's a good time to experiment. I'm off work for a week because I'm even having problems at work, like just trying to get motivated, which is very, very odd for me. But it's been kind of an issue the last 3-4 years. I've been kind of noticing work is, well, it's not my whole life anymore, so it's harder to get motivated. So yeah, I mean, it seems like, for me at least, a lot of caffeine, a big hit of caffeine, does seem to give me a pretty big mood. And Yoki's trying to get in the closet, so you're gonna hear some noise back there. There he is, right there. There he is. It does seem to give me kind of a boost in mood and overall drive and aggression and things like that. Like it gets me going, gets me active. I still get up in the morning, for like some people that suffer from low dopamine, like will have a problem getting out of bed and stuff. I still get up out of bed 5 days a week. I'm in the gym. I'm doing my ab workout, or I'm doing cardio, or both. I did that this morning. So, I'm not totally hosed where I'm sitting in bed all day doing nothing, but I'm not super hyped up, and not like I'm trying to be super hyped up, but at least like feeling good about life. Like I'm just kind of meh about life right now. So, I'm not depressed or anything. I'm not sad. I'm just, I'm just kind of chill. So, yeah. So we'll see how this stack works out. I took it right before this webcast, or this live stream. So, it'd probably take, I don't know how long it takes to kick in, but maybe in 10 minutes or so, I'll be way more energetic or something. I don't know. But one thing I wanted to kind of spend a little bit of time today talking about is, I've been wanting to make a video about this, and one of my most popular videos on my channel is my testosterone replacement therapy honest opinion video. And, it's kind of funny. I took that, I think, about a month in or 2 months in. I'll have to go check exactly when, but I wasn't on testosterone replacement very long when I did that video. And I've definitely learned a ton about the best protocol of TRT for me personally. And I think that's the biggest thing I've learned, is that one thing that, because you go out on Reddit to the TRT forum or subreddit, and you just see all these people sharing, how to do it best. And their how to do it best is actually what's best for them. It's not exactly what's best for everyone. It's just what works for them. And I think it's taken me I'm almost at the 2-year mark. I think in February it'll be 2 years. So, just shy, maybe a year and a half-ish, year 3/4. I've been using testosterone, and, definitely helps me with my energy level. Definitely helps with that. But, I'll just kind of share some things that I wrote down that I think might help some people that are thinking about testosterone replacement therapy, men thinking about it, and then also like how to optimize it. I think that's an important thing. So one thing that I think I want to dispel really fast is if your doctor wants you to inject testosterone once every 2 weeks, especially testosterone cypionate, which has a 6 or 7 day, I think about a 6 or 7 day life. That is not a recommended protocol. That is in the Journal of Medicine. That's basically in the doctor playbook for how testosterone should be administered. And I think that is very old thinking, and is not optimized. So if your doctor tries to start you on testosterone and give you a shot every 2 weeks, I would find another doctor, or ask for a referral to an endocrinologist. I would not do that. And why do I say that? Because I was put on that protocol and I felt terrible. Like, I felt great the first week, and the second week I felt terrible. And the other problem I was having was I was having like major hormone fluctuations. So I would have acne and all these side effects, which I'll talk about in a minute. And it just wasn't a fun time. Once I went to once every week, it got a little better. But I'm at once a day now. I inject every day, and I found that to be the best for me personally. It's not fun. I mean, you're jabbing an inch or a half inch or an inch needle into your body, into your muscle, every day, and that gets a little arduous. Ask me in 10 years or even 5 years if I still want to do it daily. But it works for me. It makes me feel a lot better. Side effects are a lot lower. It's just a very stable concentration. So frequency is definitely one thing. I would either do it, I would try to do it at least twice a week. 3 times a week is better. But that's just what I've found. But a lot of people can do it once a week and they're fine. But it's definitely something that you're going to have to experiment with. So that's kind of, dosage frequency is one thing. The second thing I'll share is the needle you use. So doctors like to give you the 1.5 inch. I think it's like a 20 gauge or 22 gauge needle. That thing's a harpoon. And if you start to inject that, and that's a lot of the times the reason why they're telling you to inject once every 2 weeks is because that needle, intramuscle, it needs to be intramuscular. So in your muscle, that needle going into muscle is not a fun experience. So I found that now that I am leaner, which means I have less body fat, I can get away with like a 1/2 inch 30 gauge needle, which is basically an insulin needle, but it's a 1/2 inch. And usually if I use that, I can use that on my shoulders, although I don't inject in my shoulders anymore. I'll talk a little bit about that. But I could put that in my ventricle. I could put that in my quad. Quad's not my favorite, but it's good to rotate around, and I'll talk a little bit about that here in a sec. But I just found that 1/2 inch 30 gauge is good for me. I am experimenting with like a 1 inch 27 gauge for my glute, because I carry a little bit more fat on my glute, and I kind of feel like that inch is needed to get through that fat layer and get into the muscle, and not just into the muscle, but pretty good into the muscle, because you're injecting this oil that's going to stay there for like 6 or 7 days, so you want it in the muscle. The other reason you don't want to use that harpoon needle is that it can create scar tissue. So the bigger needle you use, the more scar tissue you're going to cause, and the more frequently you inject, the more scar tissue you're going to have in the muscle you're injecting, yada yada yada, and that can cause problems long term. And it starts to make your muscle look kind of weird. So, it's best if you can try to find a needle that's in the upper 20s and is like 1/2 inch or an inch, depending on how lean you are. If you're not very lean, that you may have to go to 1.5 inches, but try to get a gauge that's a little bit smaller. And the trick there is that a lot of people are like, well, if I use that smaller needle, then I can't draw it out of the vial. Well, that's when you can use the harpoon's needle, is to draw out of the vial. In fact, I would recommend that you change the syringe from what you draw out of the vial to what you inject into yourself, because I can guarantee you the needle gets dulled when you pull out of the vial. When you push through that rubber bladder in the vial of testosterone, you dull the needle. And sometimes, like, you'll stab it, you'll pull some, maybe you pull a little bit too much, and so you put it back in. You do every time you push that needle through that rubber bladder, you're dulling the needle, which is going to create more scar tissue, and you're going to feel it. Like, you're going to feel the fact that the needle doesn't go into your skin quite as well. That's even true for the insulin needles. Yeah. So swap the needle. Like, don't use the same needle you pull from to inject you. Use a brand new needle. And I would buy high quality needles. A lot of the needles that are on Amazon are terrible. They're Chinese. They're not smooth whatsoever. Try to get an easy touch is what I use. That's a good needle. Hey, Rach, how's it going? So I would do that. The other thing I would do too is rotate where you inject. So I basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 sites that I rotate my injections through. So quad, vent, glute on right, and then the same on the left. I used to have shoulders. I would do my side delts, but I've noticed that if I inject into my shoulders, for some reason lately, it really causes a lot of what's called PIP, or post-injection pain, where you basically feel like your muscle is sore. But my muscle doesn't just get sore. It actually travels into the tendon that ties into my, what is that, your humerus bone, I believe. That tendon that ties in gets kind of pissed off too. So I don't like to inject into my shoulders anymore, because it just kind of screws my workouts up. Even my quads, like, I'm a little bit iffy about quad injection because there's a lot of blood vessels in there, and it can be kind of painful a little bit, because that muscle is just so dense. I've heard people injecting into their into their calves and stuff. Like, that's just way too dense of a muscle. I'm not even going to try that. I've heard people injecting into the muscles in their forearms, and I'm like, dude, that's brutal. But a lot of people inject kind of all over. There's guys that inject in their trap. They'll inject in their rear delt. They'll inject in their lat. Those are pretty exotic. They'll inject into their tricep, their bicep. I think 6 rotation sites is probably good enough for me. But try to rotate, especially if you're doing frequent shots, like 3 a week or even every day. Like, it's even more important, because that scar tissue, if you just inject in the same place over and over again, you build up that scar tissue in that area. So definitely try to rotate it around a bit if you can. Okay. So that's talked about, kind of injection best practices, needle best practices. So frequency. Talked about frequency. Now let's talk a little bit about dosage. Okay, so the amount that you inject. That's going to be the amount of milligrams that you inject you're going to have to experiment with that. And the reason why is because a lot has to do with how your body uptakes that testosterone. I know people that can inject, 100 milligrams of testosterone a week, and it puts them up above 1,000. So they're basically a hyper responder to the testosterone. So their total test goes over 1,000 just from 100 mgs. For me, because my testosterone was so low, it takes quite a bit for me to get into the above 1,000 total test mark. It takes me about 180 or higher to get above 1,000 total test. And that's where I feel the best. I've tried using lower doses where it gets me around 600 to 800. Don't really feel a big difference in that. So that's going to be definitely something that's going to be person specific when it comes to how much testosterone you use. You're going to have to experiment with that. My advice there is start slow, especially if you're using testosterone cypionate or test sip. Start slow and give it 3 to 4 weeks, because that's usually how long it takes for the serum levels in your blood to build up. So, um, just kind of experiment with that. Start low, see what you can, like, the minimum you can get away with is the best. There's a lot of guys that are like, more is better, and that's kind of a typical bodybuilder mentality, is like more is better. So more pre-workout is better workout, or more lifting or more days in the gym is better. Like, more is always better. Try to get away with as less amount as you can. And I had to play with that. Like, I had to experiment around with what the dosage is, um, for me. The other thing I would say too is that the dose really will affect you based on your body fat amount. What I noticed is that when I was in the 20 to 22% body fat range, I could not take as much testosterone as far as milligram wise, uh, without some massive amounts of acne on my face, on my back, on my chest, etc. It really got pretty bad. And that has to do with the fact that the more fat you carry, the higher chances are that testosterone is going to turn into estradiol. It's called aromatization. So basically, testosterone can either stay testosterone, it can turn into DHT, or it can aromatize into estradiol. And the higher your estradiol gets, some people can tolerate it. That's another kind of person dependent thing. If some people can have an estradiol number of like 100 US units, I don't remember if it's picograms per deciliter. I can't remember the exact measurement, but some people can handle like 100 estradiol marker in their blood. I seem to be able to handle a little higher. Some people, like at 40, they feel it. And what I mean by feel it, usually you can tell, like, if you're getting the acne stuff, that's it. Um, Sometimes, like, nipple sensitivity in guys, you'll start to develop what's called gynecomastia, which is where your breast tissue starts to form. In guys, you don't want that because that's permanent. You have to have it surgically removed in order to have that fixed. That's not fun. Um, Thankfully, I have not had that. For me, it was acne, but it was also emotion. Like, I was crying over commercials. I was crying over songs. I was crying over everything. And so when I can usually tell when my estradiol is getting to the point to where I can't handle it, when I start to get that crying thing. I get a little bit of acne here and there, but the crying thing is the part where I know it's way too high. It's going to affect everybody differently, but just know that the more body fat you have, the higher of a chance you're going to have higher estradiol when you're using testosterone. And how much depends on how much you can handle personally, before the side effects just become intolerable. So, going to be some experimentation, but I would tell you, like, get as lean as you can and stay as lean as you can. That's comfortable for your body when you're on testosterone replacement therapy. It just seems to make for less problems. Um, so, yeah, because I'm on a pretty decent amount of testosterone right now, but I'm very lean, and I've not had any issues with estradiol. I get a little bit of acne, like I said, but nothing like I was getting before. No crying, none of that stuff. Some people say that they have aggression with testosterone. That's usually from estradiol, actually. But a lot of free androgens can do that too. But I find that the aggression stuff in me comes from mainly the androgen piece, not the estradiol piece. Let's see. Oh, you'll hear a lot of people talk about injecting subcutaneous versus intramuscular. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, just inject your testosterone under your skin, man. Don't do it in your muscle." The drug was designed to go into your muscle. Um, and it's based in oil. Usually it's cottonseed oil for cypionate here in the U.S. It can be MCT if it's underground, but that will not dissipate. You will have a lump from that for a week or more, usually. And it usually causes bruising too. So I'm not a fan of subcutaneous injections of testosterone. I know some people really enjoy it and they think it's fine, and that's great for them. But for me, I don't like it. It looks like crap, and especially I'm injecting every day. Like, I don't want that all over my body just kind of hanging out because it takes a long time for that oil to dissipate when it's under your skin. Because it's basically you got oil and fat, uh, which is not great. So I'm an intramuscular guy, shallow intramuscular, deep intramuscular. It's more painful, but at this point, I don't. Most days, I don't even feel it when I inject it. Just kind of get used to it. So I'm not a sub Q guy. I'm definitely an IM guy, intramuscular guy. Let's see what else. Those are really the big ones. Like I think, you know, like I said, minimum once a week. If you can get away with it, you're gonna have to try it and see. Try to get away with the minimum amount of dose that helps you. Try to get your body fat down. That's hard, I know. And sometimes, getting on the testosterone can help. So, in that regard, like, get on testosterone like a low dose, and then try to get as lean as you can. I definitely I've been in the 22% body fat on testosterone, and I've been to the 7% now. I will tell you, leaner, I just have less side effects. It's better. I'm in my growth phase right now, or my bulking phase right now, so I'm going to be putting on a little bit of body fat, but I probably won't let it get past 15% because I'll probably start to have symptoms of high estradiol again if I let it get past that. But I don't know. I've never been this lean on testosterone, but I can tell you that so far the estradiol management's been fine. Yeah, so that's really it for like my overall learnings of testosterone so far. So far, I think it's a great thing for me personally. Um, I'll probably just say a couple things about it. Like, I think that if you're, if you go to the doctor, if you're feeling like if you're an older dude like me, in your late 40s, and you feel like your testosterone might be low because you have the side effects, some of those side effects, or not side effects, but symptoms, some of those symptoms might just be that you need to start exercising. A lot of people look at the like fatigue, no drive, low sexual performance. They kind of look at the list. They're like, oh, I have all that. But that's something like exercise can help. And they'll go to the doctor and they'll have a base, total test level of like 350 or 400. And they'll say, oh, I need to get on testosterone. I, you know, it's forever thing. Like, you're going to be on it for the rest of your life. So I would definitely, if your total testosterone is like 300 or 400, I'd consider, getting healthier, eating better, exercise, etc., before jumping on testosterone. If you're on 300 and you just don't feel well, and you got a lot of fatigue, and you've already lost weight and it hasn't helped, and you are exercising and it hasn't helped, like that was my situation. But my total test was 150, so it was very clear that I was in pretty bad shape. Hey Eddie, how's it going, man? Thanks for joining. So I would also say that if you're a younger kid, like if you're in your early 20s or mid 20s or even late teens, try to avoid it like as long as you can. If you have low testosterone and you're overweight and you don't exercise and you don't sleep, fix those things first, then have your testosterone checked again, because unless you've got a hypogonadism or something like that, which people have, I can see a lot of younger people getting on testosterone these days, and it does concern me a bit. But some people need it. But I would just say, get your other stuff together in life, like your eating, your sleeping, your exercise. Get that going first. Recheck your tests, see what it's like, etc. So that would be my advice there. But hey, man, it's a free country. It's a free world. If you feel like you need to get on it and it'll make you feel better, I get that too, man. Like, I'm not here to judge anybody. Yeah. So that's kind of the testosterone topic today. I just wanted to kind of give an update of where I am in my journey on testosterone replacement therapy. I think it still gets a kind of a bad rap with dudes. Like, I think a lot of people are like, "Ooh, he's on steroids." It's funny. You don't say a girl that's on estrogens you don't say they're on steroids, right? Like, it's there's still a bit of a mantra about it, but I'm not ashamed of it. Like I have a chemical imbalance in my body that I fixed with a chemical that happens in my body. Like that's hormone replacement therapy. People have been doing it for 50, 60 years. So I'm totally fine with that. I have no shame there. So, yeah. All right. Let's see what else. So that's enough on testosterone, I think. One thing I'm kind of struggling with right now is like I like to do more cardio and get my heart rate up like 3 times a week, but I'm finding that like all my heart rate, I'm having a problem getting my heart rate elevated, like even more now than ever. And normally to get my heart rate elevated for like 10 or 15 minutes, I blow out whatever appendages I'm working out. So, for example, like I have to be on the stair climber now on an 8 for like 10 minutes before I finally get my heart rate above 130. And by then, my legs are crushed. And then that interferes with my leg workout. So, I'm struggling to kind of find when to do this higher intensity workout to work my heart out and not impact my weightlifting, which the weightlifting is the focus. Like that, I want to put muscle on. I don't want to wear myself out where there's nothing left for weight training. So that's one trick I kind of haven't learned yet. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it. Maybe I'll try ropes or something, the battle ropes where you do the thing, with the ropes. I might try that. I tried this medicine ball thing where I pick it up and throw it, but my shoulders just they don't like that. So yeah, not doing that. I try the elliptical, but it feels weird on my hips. It just feels like an unnatural movement to me. The exercise bike blows my legs up. Again, I have to pedal really hard, really fast to get my heart rate up, and then by that time, blows my legs out. So I don't know. Like I haven't found the right balance for good amounts of cardio, but I do a lot of steady state stuff. Like I usually walk every morning. I walk a mile on a treadmill at like a 5 incline, but my heart rate's like 105 when I'm doing that. It's not. It's my heart rate just kind of like, yeah, what's next, pal? Like, give me something harder. So yeah, we'll have to figure out a way to get that going. But cool. Questions? Anybody? Like, I think there was some studies that came out about what was it, like melatonin causes like heart problems or something like that. What was the? Hang on, let's go out in here. Go out here and look. Look what's up. Yeah, I hate the elliptical too. I don't know. It just feels unnatural to me. What was a melatonin heart failure? Right? Long-term melatonin associated with increased risk of heart failure. Okay, so yeah, you kind of have to. I haven't read this study, um, but like, let's try to find the study. Okay, okay. So this is. Let's see what this says here. Included participants, 56 years, 61% of women, melatonin. Okay, score. Okay, do they talk about what these women weight were, what their body fat percentage was, how much sleep they were getting? Yeah, so the thing of it is, like, you kind of have to be careful about some of these studies. Like, I don't know this one in particular, but like when you see this stuff, um, you kind of have to look at who they studied it on. For example, like if all these people were overweight and they weren't sleeping, well, even without melatonin, they're going to have heart problems. So like you can't like it's not like because like it's the melatonin that did it. It could just be because they're overweight and they're not sleeping and not taking care of themselves. And that's men too. Like I'm not being like sexist here. I'm just saying like a lot of these studies that are like this is going to kill you. It's like, well, you're already killing yourself with being like really overweight, not sleeping, and not exercising. So I don't think it's the melatonin. It's probably your lifestyle, right? So just kind of when you see studies like this, I always try to just kind of be skeptical. Just take a look at it. It's kind of like I think the pea protein was like what was that one? Like it had lead poisoning or something like that. I'm like, dude, I think most of the stuff we have gives us lead poisoning these days. Like, but we're all eating McDonald's. Like, you kind of have to just something's going to kill us all, right? You kind of have to pick your battles with that. But I've been playing with melatonin a little bit lately too. I tried this experiment where I took like 20 milligrams. I got some of the best sleep I've gotten in a long time. So well, it was more than that. I think I took 20 milligrams when I went to sleep, and then I took 20 milligrams when I woke up in the middle of the night, and I slept pretty good. I just wanted to see what would happen. But just kind of, I think, what was the other one? The pea protein thing, right? Pea protein, like, was it lead or something like that? High contamination. Yeah, yeah. But it's like, okay, specific brands of concern. Okay, naked nutrition, NutriCost. Okay, so this isn't pea protein. It's the manufacturers, and the big thing about this story is that guess what? Like a lot of you have to be careful about what supplements that you buy. They need to be from reputable companies that do third party testing, etc. So you gotta buy from reputable brands. If you've never heard of the brand, it's probably not good. Just buy from good brands. Yeah, pea protein's fine. Like I think it's fine. It's not a complete protein, so you have to, you know, like let's bring up ChatGPT here, and we'll go into private mode here. Okay, is pea protein a complete protein? And so, what is a complete protein? Basically, a protein. Complete protein means that it has all the essential amino acids that your body can't make itself that are necessary for a muscle protein synthesis, right? So, protein contains all of them, but it's not considered a complete protein, strictly because it's low in methionine and cysteine. Now, the thing is, though, is that if you eat pea protein and then you also eat rice or grains or nuts, boom, complete protein. So while it's not a total complete protein by itself, you can combine it with other foods and make it one. So just something to keep in mind when you think about pea protein. I'm lucky I can eat whey. Whey protein does not bother me in any regard. Well, unless I eat too much of it. I make this Ninja Creamy, which is this machine. I make these Ninja Creamy smoothies out of whey protein, some ultra filtered milk. Usually it's almond milk, actually. I'm sorry. I use almond milk for that one. A little bit of Splenda, a little bit of sugar-free butterscotch Jello mix, and it tastes really good. I had that, and then I made like a brownie out of like fudge whey. I put fudge whey, a little bit of baking powder, a little bit of Splenda, and then I cooked it in the microwave, and it rose. It actually made a brownie. It didn't taste like a real brownie, but it was like a brownie. And so I had brownie and ice cream. So together, I will say that rocked me. That was way too much whey right before bed. That was not good. Yeah, so you kind of have to be careful. But yeah, like, I would say, the pea protein breakfast cereal, like, if you add in some oats or something to it or some rice milk, that would make it a complete protein. So that would be okay. Yeah. So I would just say, try to, if you're going to eat pea protein, make sure you're eating it with these, make sure you're adding other things into your diet to make them complete proteins, and you'll be fine. Like most people, it's not that they're not getting complete proteins. It's that they're not getting enough protein. And I tend to overdo it, but that's because I'm also breaking down muscles a lot more than like an average person would. But if you're getting 0.8 to 1 gram per lean body pound that you have, I think you're probably doing fine from a protein perspective. So if you're 150 pounds and you have 40 pounds of fat on you, as long as you're getting 110 grams of protein, or even 100, you're doing fine. Like everything's going to be fine. Don't try to be perfect. I think that's the big thing. Rice milk or whole milk? Well, I think the rice milk because it combines with the pea protein, right? So that's why I was saying rice milk. You could drink whole milk if you can take it. I can't really drink whole milk anymore. I can drink like I drink that Fairlight fat free ultra filtered stuff, and that seems to be okay for me. But if I try to drink a lot of whole milk or a lot of like even 2%, it I it's a no bueno. It's just yeah, my stomach just doesn't care for it. Yeah, so that's why I was talking about like a rice milk. Combining that with like a pea protein would probably be good. Um, but yeah, anyway, I don't know how I was talking about that, but yeah, just buy from a reputable brand. So like for example, I'm not sponsored by any of these people, but uh, you know, if you go out to like Raw Nutrition, this is Chris Bumstead and all those guys. These guys, I know, like, so this is one that I really like. I like this isolate protein. It's supposed to be isolate protein, but because Chris Bumstead has a lisp, he says isolate. So he's a good sport. Like he makes fun of himself a little bit, but yeah, these guys, yeah, we test what you trust. So if you look, they should usually, let's see, they'll usually tell you um, the testing here. Yeah, so I know for a fact that they do test their stuff and it's pretty legit. So this is a good one. The other one is HD Muscle. I like HD Muscle. A lot of their stuff though this is in Canada. A lot of their stuff's been out of stock though. Oh, they took a lot off. So they used to have this. Man, they used to have this birthday cake that I loved, and it looks like they took it off the menu, which sucks. But yeah, this one tested for heavy metals. So these guys test for lead. So that I would say that look for somebody who's doing that testing, and make sure that it's legit. You have to be real careful on Amazon. Um, there's so many supplements out there that are not tested, and you just never know. So like, let's just do whey protein powder. Um, Nutricost, I do like Nutricost. They do third party testing too. Um, let's see, third party tested. So they do third party testing. I'm trying to pick. I don't want to pick on anybody. Like I don't know. I'm just looking for one that's maybe. Okay, what is this? Okay. Yeah. Like this one, for example, GMP certified, made in the U.S. So, GMP certified. Sometimes what they'll say is GMP certified, but it's in like a GMP certified factory that it's made, but the product is not GMP certified. So you just kind of have to be. There's a lot of these little nuance things. Just buy from one that has reputable. I think Caged. I have their casein. Let's see, Caged casein protein powder. Like, yeah, I bought this one. I like casein for like a nighttime protein because it's slower digesting. I think these guys are. I think they are tested. I'll have to go back and look, but yeah, casein's pretty good. If you can't take whey, try casein. I don't know, it might help you out. But yeah, transparent labels. Uh, yeah, so I think this is fine too. Tastes pretty good too. One thing I've been making lately is I've been making my own. Um, I've been making my own creamer. So let's see. Let me search. I've got the creamer. Yeah. So I like peppermint creamer. The problem with coffee creamer though is that it's a crap like the ones you buy over the counter, or just like the Chobani or whatever like creamer. It's dude, it's like 15 milliliters is like 35 calories. 15 milliliters is like that, literally that much. So it's brutal. Like as far as like, because you got to put like 3 servings in. So by that time, your coffee is just turned into like 150 calories. So it's like, So I started making my own creamer. So I do fat-free milk. So I do the Fairlight milk, 2 scoops of vanilla whey isolate. I've been using the casein protein, but I try that. I use a little bit of peppermint extract. It's the holidays. I like peppermint though. I use a little bit of stevia, or actually a little bit of Splenda. I use Splenda. You can use stevia or monk fruit. And then I do add cocoa powder because I like the flavonoids that are in that. Is that right? Flavonoids? Am I saying that right? No. Polyphenols that are in it. It's good antioxidant. So I like raw cocoa, unprocessed cocoa. It's good stuff. Yeah. But anyway, I make this, I pour that in, and I think I can have like 50 grams of it for like 20 calories. So it's like I can drink 3 or 4 times the amount for the same amount of calories. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Anyway, so yeah, another way to use ChatGPT recipes. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there. Talked about a lot of good stuff today, but yeah, I wanted to share the testosterone stuff. Give kind of an update of where I'm at, and then also, just be skeptical about stuff that comes out in the news. Do your research. Don't just take it at face value. Ask questions like, who is this? What was the sample size? What were the type of people? Were they trained people? Were they not trained people? All those things you kind of have to take apart and think about. But anyway, hope everybody has a great weekend. And actually, I won't see you until Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving will be our next episode. So I hope everybody in the U.S. has a great Thanksgiving. If you're not in the U.S., hey, on Thursday, eat a lot of food. Just go off plan. I plan on doing that. I think it's going to be great. Yeah, I've been eating I guess I didn't talk about that. I've been eating like 3,500 calories a day, and it's been pretty good. Yeah, I'm gaining about 0.8 pounds a week, which is a little high, but I don't seem to be putting on a lot of body fat. So I'll go ahead and take it. So anyway, keep up the great work. I know you can do it. Keep up the great work. I know you can do it. And I will see you in the next one. Have a great one.